All right, guys, I am super excited. We have a special Boss Babes feature interview today. We're going to have a really great chat with Boston Celtics Enes Kanter. Enes, thank you so much for joining me
Yeah,
today. How are
um,
you?
I'm good. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited, and I know that you're celebrating Ramadan right now. How's that going?
Well, actually, today is like the last day, and I'm probably having like the easiest Ramadan ever because like the past years, I probably like, usually have either practice or games or workout. So this definitely Ramadan was like the easiest that I ever had.
And speaking of you celebrating Ramadan and being from Turkey, I find it very admirable that you use your platform to speak out against
Mhm.
certain topics and controversial topics that are happening in your country. So I wanted to first start by focusing on the You Are My Hope campaign. What is
Right.
exactly does that mean to you? I know that you started that whole campaign yourself.
Right. I mean, for those who doesn't know about, the campaign, first of all, we started the campaign because of if you look at what's happened in Turkey, there is no freedom. There is a freedom of speech, religion, or expression. There is no democracy, and there's no, sadly, human rights. And Turkish government using their power to abuse people and human rights violations. So that's why, if you look at, there's so many political prisoners and so many journalists are in the jail right now waiting for help. And just because of this coronavirus thing happened, Turkish government decided to let all the child rapists, murderers, mafia leaders, smugglers, thieves free, but they decided to keep political prisoners and journalists in the jail. So that if the virus spreads, which it already did in jails, it's going to be deadly. So we started this campaign to collect signatures, and with those signatures, we are gonna go to White House. We are gonna go to human rights court, human rights courts. We're gonna go to just European Union and the United Nation with those signatures, and it's gonna become a conversation. There's so many athletes and celebrities already signed it, and actually they made a video about it. But it is going to be very exciting because it is going to help all those people out there who don't have a voice. So I really appreciate for their support.
And I know you're speaking about freedom. You have been quoted saying freedom is not free. And I actually saw a really
Mhm.
awesome photo of you on the basketball court. Of course, you played for the Celtics and you played for a few other teams as well. You had custom
Mhm.
sneakers made that said freedom on the side. What exactly does freedom mean to you? And I know you've also been quoted saying, we need to make this world better together, which I think is
Yep.
so incredible that you're trying to
Right.
unify people and speak out and use your platform.
I mean, when you say, like better together, I feel like the important thing is, you can be from different religions, different cultures, different, ethnicity, different, skin color, or different, country. But like, I feel like the most important thing in life is leave your differences on the table and try and find what we have in common. And like I said, like you listened, we only have one world to live. I mean, till Elon Musk will find another planet, this world is what we have. So I feel like we need to make this work together. The other thing is freedom. Freedom definitely means everything to me because I see what people going through, especially right now in Turkey. People just because of they don't think the same way the President Erdogan thinks, the they losing their lives, they losing their loved ones, businesses, their homes, and they're just locked down in jail for years and years. And I remember when I was growing up, my mom told me, just believe in something, even if it means, just sacrificing literally everything. I mean, you look at right now, whenever you talk about this, conversations, you're never gonna get big endorsement deals. You're never gonna get big contracts, or you're never gonna, the people gonna be just look at you differently. But when I sit down, especially with my teammates, I mean, the first question they ask me if I'm crazy. But when I sit down and talk to them like this one on one, the next question they ask me is, how can I help? So I think it is so important and gives me so much hope that when people listen to the story, it's like, you know what? Okay, this is gonna be a hopeful road.
And what you just said fits perfectly into my next question because you said sometimes you sit down with your teammates and they kind of think that you might be crazy because you're speaking out about certain topics, but in a way, we all find it very admirable. And My next question would be, what advice can you give to people that are afraid of talking about certain controversial topics? Like, how did you just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm not going to be afraid of this anymore. I want to speak out, use my platform. I want to be positive and let people know that it's okay to use my journey and help others out.
I mean, I first of all, I saw what people were going through, especially in my home country in Turkey. If you see, there's right now there are 17,000 innocent women are in jail right now, and almost 1,000 baby are growing up in jails with their mothers. And if you look at the some of the reports like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and Human Rights Foundation, lots of people are, especially women, are getting raped and tortured in jails just because of they don't think the same way what the regime, the Turkish regime thinks. So I feel like God put me in this situation for a reason. I have a platform and I gotta use this platform to be voice of all those innocent people out there who don't have a voice. So like that was my thing. I mean, I understand like I'm not a politician or I'm not a journalist, and this is my second language. And some of the words that I'm using, I have to repeat it to myself like three, four, 5 times. So whenever I talk to people, I can explain myself better. Because whenever I have a conversation with, I don't know, like CNN or Fox or like some of the big MSNBC or I don't know, some of the big outlets, I want to be able to tell not just my story, but their story. Because, I mean, you guys know my story because I play in NBA, right? But there are thousands and thousands of stories out there. Their situation is way worse than mine. So, like, I am trying to use my story to tell about other stories.
And again, I know I've said it a million times. We find that so admirable that you are
Mhm.
using your platform to speak out and let other people know not only what's happening in Turkey, but how it's affecting your life.
Mhm.
And so my next question would be, how living in Boston and being a part of the Boston Celtics organization, I would assume they're sort of like a family to you now.
Mhm.
How has that impacted you in a positive way, being a part of Boston? Actually, directly behind me,
I did
the
see it.
bigger
Yeah, I
section,
love
the
it.
Celtics colors, and it says "Believe in Boston" right behind me.
I love it. I mean, one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to sign with the Boston, not just because of obviously it's one of the best organizations in the league and won the most championship, but like what they do off the court. Now, I'm not just talking about the Celtics. I'm talking about the whole city and state because Boston is an international city. Obviously, it's a very educational city also. And I remember the cities I played for before. They used to come up to me and say, "Oh, a good game last night, good double double last night, whatever, good win last night." But now it's like with Boston, it's different. They come up to me and say, "Good op-ed yesterday," or "Good article," or "Hey, what you stand for is amazing. Just keep doing what you're doing. We are with you." So like that was like the one thing that just made me just amazed me so much. And then the Boston Celtics, we are like a family, because like, and first of all, stepping on that court, it just you look at the banners, the 17 championship, you look at the jerseys that you see like Larry Bird, you see Bill Russell, you see Parrish, you see all those like the legends that you play. So every time you step on that court, you're like, okay, it's a big responsibility. And like when you play for any team in Massachusetts, Boston, whatever, they compete for championship every year. You look at the Patriots, look at us, you look at the Bruins, you look at the Red Sox. So like every team just playing for a championship. So like for me, hey, we just need to go out there and just we cannot take any night off and try to do the best we can to just go out there and win a championship.
I love that. You're right. Boston definitely does set that high standard for wanting to win championships. And speaking of family, I kind of want a little bit of your backstory. You can keep it very brief because I know you have talked about it in multiple other interviews, but I know that you currently don't really have much contact with your family out
Right.
in Turkey. So can you lightly discuss that and then also how it affects you having your passport being taken away
Yeah.
by the Turkish government?
I mean, obviously, whenever I talk about these issues affecting me and my family, I remember last time I saw my family was back in 2015. And now, just because of I talk about these issues, like I said, it affected my family. My dad was a genetic professor. He got fired from his job. My sister went to medical school for 6 years. Now she cannot find a job. My little brother was playing basketball. He literally got kicked out in every team because he carried the last name. But just because of my family members will keep getting fired, my family had to put a statement out there and say we are disowning Ennis. I remember going to practice that day. It was like one of the most awkward moments. But Turkish government didn't believe that. They sent police to my house in Turkey, and they raided the whole house, and they took every electronics away because they wanted to see if I am still in contact with my family or not. And if they were to see any text message, any emails or missed calls, they will be all in jail. Um, like I said again, it's tough because obviously it's your family in the end, and that was like the questions that I get a lot, like, hey, that's your family, but like, okay, there's my family's only one family. There are 1,000 families out there. Their situation is way worse than mine. And the passport revoke, I mean, it was tough because like, I mean, people are asking me where you from. I'm like, I don't know, I don't know what to tell them because like. Um, they revoked my passport back in 2017, and right now, and also that's the other thing the Turkish government is doing. They're using their power to abuse red notice system, Interpol. So, like, if you're against Turkish government, if you're not in Turkey, they put your name on Interpol. So they will the whatever country you're in, they will send you back to Turkey. So, like, they do put my name on Interpol, and so that's why only place that I could live outside of America was is Canada. But we had to get in touch with the Prime Minister's office and talk to some of the lawmakers in Canada, so it'll be like safe and go. But you just see the support from all the world leaders, all the the politicians, Republicans and Democrats, both sides in America. It was just for me, it was definitely amazing.
Well, I'm very happy that you feel safe here in America and
Hmm.
especially in the city of Boston. We are a great city and we are so happy to have you here with
Yeah.
us. And I'm so thankful and grateful that you were able to speak about those important topics. I'm sure that they are hard and difficult for you to speak about. So I want to switch over to some positive and to some
Let's do
fun stuff.
it.
I want to know some fun facts about you. So I was doing some research on you lately, and I don't know if this
Okay.
is true or not, so I kind of wanted to hear from you. Is it true that you learned English by watching SpongeBob SquarePants and Jersey Shore?
So like, okay, I'll tell you a story. First time coming to America, I went to a prep school in around Los Angeles, and I went to college in Kentucky. And I was like, you know what? Like, I really didn't learn a lot, much English in Turkey, so I just want to learn like the street language, what people talk. And I asked one of my friends, I was like, hey, what is like the one show that I can watch and like learn a street language? I don't know if he was messing with me or not, but he just said Jersey Shore. Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, sure. I had no idea. I'd never heard of Jersey Shore before.
Can you be
I'm
like a
like,
Jersey
okay,
Shore
so
fist bump with me?
back then. So
I
like,
love it. Yeah, I actually grew up watching Jersey Shore as well. And a lot of those
okay,
reality TV shows are a lot of fun. My TV background is actually, I competed on MTV's The Challenge. So I'm all about the reality
okay,
TV, and I think it's a fun show.
amazing,
And I think it's really cool that you learned English as your second language through watching TV shows
right,
like that and SpongeBob.
right. So I went to my dorm in Kentucky. Start watching Jersey Shore. I'm like, this is so weird, but like same time it's fun, but it's like one of the weirdest shows that I ever watched. But it was just cool that just to see like when they call in a cab, when they go on a party, when they were going out. There you go. But now I'm like really really good friends with Mike the Situation. Like we talk on Twitter. He actually did support my campaign. He actually sent me a video actually so my Twitter and Instagram. If you just go and you can see the video. But like good people, different kind of people, but definitely good people.
I think that's super cool that you also are banding up with some of the reality TV personalities because they also have a big following. And I
Right.
also thought it was super cool that you are a big WWE fan. Not only did you, and I don't know if this is true or not, so you can talk about it a little bit if you want, but
Hmm.
you dated a female wrestler, which is super cool. And you also were involved with some wrestling a little while ago up in New York. So can you talk a little bit about your love for WWE, your love for wrestling, and how was it getting in the ring?
I mean, I remember watching it when I was in college again, and I went to my first show that year, and in Indiana, and I was like, you know what, this is wild, and I'm like, I gotta be into this. I have to make this as a career. And I just stopped watching it, start watching some of the girl wrestlers, some of the male wrestlers. My favorite was Undertaker, and actually when I was playing for the Knicks, right? They came to Madison Square Garden. I actually get to meet with Undertaker and all the other wrestlers, John Cena and Ronda Rousey, actually very sweetheart. Um, I was like, you know what? This is going to be my career after my NBA career. I'm like, this is going to be my future. And they actually offered me to have a match in Madison Square Garden for this 24/7 championship. I'm like, sure, I'll take it. I'll do it. Uh, so and then I actually won the 24/7 championship.
I watched it. I saw
But
that you won.
yeah, and then they're like, are you sure you want to be a heel? Because you're gonna be like the most hated man in New York that night. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. So I
I
revealed
like
my
how you just
jersey,
took your
obviously.
jacket off and you had the Celtics jersey on. I was like,
Yeah.
that's my boy, repping Boston and New York.
So there, everybody was booing because I played for the Knicks, right? I mean, but everybody was booing. But it was just fun. But and then after that match, I actually went to the that they call it Gorilla, so it's like a backstage. Um, met with Miss McMahon, very nice guy, and I actually met with Triple H. He's like, make sure you keep my number in your phone. I'm like, sure. I'm actually really cool with friends with Paul Heyman. Really good guy, really good dude, and he's like, hey, let's go. Let's are we doing this? I'm like, dude, like. Give me like 6 more years. Let me finish my basketball career first, and then I'm gonna come there for sure.
So basically, what you're trying to tell us is after you retire from the NBA, you might become a full-time wrestler.
I think so.
What I think is really cool too, I wanted to ask you this question going along with the WWE theme. So a good friend of mine is Rob Gronkowski, and I'm really good friends with the Gronkowski brothers.
Okay.
Rob actually has been doing some little stints here and there with the
I just did.
WWE. Would you ever consider having him as a tag team partner in the ring? I think you guys would dominate together. I mean, you're both like Boston sports athletes. You both have these fun, open
Right.
personalities. I think you guys would kill it. What do you think about being a tag team with Rob Gronkowski?
You know what I was thinking? So this summer, what it was going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen right now. But like the SummerSlam was in Boston at TD Garden. I was thinking about either tag team with him or just me and him go against each other. The whole crowd will go nuts, you know. But I think it'll be fun. I mean, I watched him in WrestleMania like this. Past one, it was amazing, man. Just going out there and just having fun and just wrestling it was that definitely cool.
I think that's so awesome. I personally would love to see you guys be tag team partners
Yeah,
together or doing
yeah,
a match against each other. I want to switch on over to because I know that the time is very limited with you. Again, I appreciate you jumping
thank
in
you.
with me. Again, guys, we're doing a very special feature right now with Boston Celtics Enes Kanter. We're here doing a very special feature for Boss Babes. I want to talk a little bit about your charity work because my show focuses a lot on the athlete outside of the court. So not only do you guys give back on the court by being entertaining,
Hmm.
being a positive force, being motivators to young kids and adults, and giving people something to look forward to on a Monday night after a hard day at work. I want to hear a little bit about your charity involvement. I know that you do a lot of basketball clinics, big things. I know you sent me the links via
Yeah,
Instagram. You were mentioning that you are highly involved right now with trying to fight women's rights, not only just with the WNBA, but in sports for equality. So, can you give me some backstory on that and why fighting for women's rights is so important for you?
first of all, I mean, charity works definitely giving back to community. It is bigger than basketball. I don't. Whenever I'm done with my career, I just don't want to be remembered by just only my name and just my game. I want to be remembered the work that I have done for people, especially our communities. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons that I, created my foundation, the Enes Kanter Foundation. Our focus is on the three things, poverty alleviation, social harmony, and education around the globe, not just in America. But especially one of the biggest things that I wanted to focus on was education because the Benjamin Franklin has a really good quote. If you want to invest in your future, you got to do with it, education. So like that's why I actually I'm planning to open up a charter school in Oklahoma. I played for that team for 2.5 years, and the that whole state gave me so much. And I feel like if you want to have a better future, we got to do with it, education. And the future is in our hands. We just need to know how to shape it. And the best way to invest in ourselves and with education. And the other thing is, you know, we talk about, equality. You see, right now, what I feel like they don't, especially the women in sports, they don't uh, get the credit that they deserve. They don't get the attention that they deserve. So that's why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be one of the first, NBA players to step up and talk about these issues because I mean, everybody. I mean, you said you watched a lot of Last Dance, and I watched the Last Dance, and
Yeah, we're going to
everybody,
talk
the
about that at the
whole,
very end. I can't wait to
yeah,
talk about that with you.
and like everybody in the whole world that talks about MJ's flu game, right? But they never to talk about the player. I'm trying to remember her name right now that played pregnant the whole season, and that is tough. That is tough to do. You know, like I said again, I feel like they don't deserve because they put the effort, they put the sweat, they put the hard work and everything, and I feel like they don't get enough credit. So I was like, you know what, I gotta step up and say something about it,
I think
and
it's
that's what.
super cool that you are stepping up and helping bring that awareness to the NBA and bring it to light for people that are reading these amazing articles that you are helping put out there. It's super cool because I actually recently just had Lauren Manis. She is
Mhm.
a recent draft pick in the WNBA.
Yeah,
She's super young. She went to Holy Cross right here she's going to be playing in Las Vegas, and she actually studied these topics in college. So we lightly touched upon
that's amazing.
inequality in sports. So super cool that you are helping recognize that there's pay inequality and also they aren't really recognized for their hard work. I wanted to touch a little bit more upon the fact that you are opening up that school in Oklahoma, focused mainly on low income students
Mhm.
that are having English as their second language and that come from immigrant families. So can you kind of explain why that's important to you? I understand that obviously
Mhm.
English is your second language and you come
Right.
from Turkey, so that probably plays into it. Can you give me some
I,
backstory on why it's so important to you?
I remember when I was growing up, like 9, 10 years old, I promised my mom, like, Mom, if I ever become so rich or if I ever become famous one day, the first thing I'm going to do is open up a school. And I saw, there's so many examples out there, like this couple summers ago, what LeBron did, just open up a I Promise school. It was just so amazing. I think that was like one of his biggest accomplishment and success in his life because he invested in his future, in the kids' future. But I feel like if we have the platform, we need to give opportunity to every kid out there, not just wealthy or not just American people, but every kid out there needs that opportunity so they can have a place to just grow and just maybe become, doctors and lawyers and maybe president one day. So I feel like as people who are blessed to be in the situation, to we just need to give those the opportunity to others and share with the other people who don't have one.
Absolutely amazing. I love that you're doing that. And again, I love hitting upon any charity work that you guys are involved with. Do you have anything before we switch over and talk a little bit about the Last Dance documentary, which I'm
Mhm.
actually bummed that it's over, but
Yeah.
do you have any upcoming charity work that you are going to be doing, whether it be in Boston or
Yeah.
locally once the coronavirus goes away? Do you have anything that we can keep a lookout for? And where can people keep an eye out for the upcoming charity work that you're going to be involved in?
So like just because of, I mean, we used to, especially summertime, we used to do a lot of basketball camps. Actually, we broke a record last summer. We did 50 basketball camps, free basketball camps in 30 states. The record was 9. Because like I feel like God give us so much to give back to our community, not just our community, but share with the whole world, right? And I feel like just sitting on your Xbox, phone or your Xbox or PlayStation, play video games all day, or just going to a beach or hang out all day is just I feel like waste of time. So I feel like we need to just put a smile on kids' face is definitely priceless because whenever they get to just play basketball against an NBA player or just they have something to talk about the rest of their lives. So, but right now, just because of this pandemic hit, obviously we cannot do any basketball camps, but we are actually thinking about doing some virtual basketball camps. So, like every kid, we are gonna share a Zoom link, right? Every kid gonna have their basketballs and have a big space, and we just literally we're gonna do basketball camps for the camera. Just just some, I don't know, just some, you know, some basketball moves that they can do in their houses, because I
Like
feel like,
virtually teaching them certain skills.
yes, there you go. So some basketball, because like they need it, because they want it, they need it. They probably board it in their houses. So I feel like we need to just go out there and just stay active and productive still.
I think that's so awesome. And I think kids would love that because I have a dog, obviously. So I've been taking my dog out to the different parks and
Yeah,
I've been walking around and seeing little kids not being able to play softball this season or
exactly.
play basketball because everything's shut down. So I think awesome people like yourself doing those virtual classes will highly benefit them and help keep them away from mental health issues because I feel like a lot of kids, not just kids, adults are suffering from not having their everyday life normal like it used to be. I'll ask you now, so let's switch over because there's only a few minutes left. The Last Dance documentary, I am so bummed that it's over. I feel like that was the only thing
I
getting me through
know. I
quarantine.
know.
What was your favorite part about the Last Dance documentary, and what was the most shocking thing that you learned while watching it?
I mean, first of all, watching Last Dance, it's just like you miss sports, and they put like the best time if we're out there, because everybody was just missing sports, and they were just like dying to go out there and just play any sport. But now that we're watching the Last Dance was amazing. I mean, you're talking about goosebumps. I'm like, whoa, you know. I know MJ's and success and everything was that, but I didn't know that much detail. Probably the most shocking part was obviously like probably like everybody else, Dennis Rodman. I'm like, this dude is different. Like during the finals, just he just went to actually a wrestling match. I was like, this is like, what are you doing? You know. But I think like my favorite part was obviously the last shot that he took it against. He stole it from Karl Malone, and actually Karl Malone is my really good friend. So just seeing him that losing the ball, I'm like, oh no. Um, I think taking that last shot, winning the championship, I feel like then that was my like favorite moment. I feel like that shot just made him. I think that shot just ended the GOAT debate. I was after that shot, I'm like, you know what? He's the GOAT.
I love that. That was going to lead into my next question. So, you don't really have to talk too much about LeBron James, but you kind of just said it. If you were to be asked right now, who do you think is the GOAT of basketball so far? Would it be
Yeah.
LeBron or MJ? You don't even have to elaborate on it, but I'm just curious.
If they play 1-on-1, I'm taking LeBron. But if I'm in a team, I'm taking MJ for sure.
I love that. That's a good answer. And we're about to wrap this up shortly. Again, I obviously did watch the Last Dance documentary. My two most interesting things that I loved
Yep.
about it, I really liked learning a lot of the behind the scenes with him coming out with his sneaker
Yep.
brand, which still to this day is
Exactly.
very popular. I really liked learning about that. They mentioned the fact that he had that brief stint with the MLB, and he did pretty good playing baseball considering he
Yeah.
was a basketball champ, of course.
Right.
And the
Right.
other thing that I thought was really cool was the fact that he had the food poisoning and he still played through the whole food poisoning.
I know, I know, I know. It was wild. I don't know. I don't know if any can, but I see his mentality in one player, and that was Kobe Bryant. Because I get to play against him, um, and when I was 19 through what through his whole when he was finishing his career, I think MJ's mentality is only Kobe had. That in the whole league, that's the only player that I have seen.
I love it. I love that we were able to talk about the Last Dance documentary. And last but not least, on my show, we're all about positivity and charity and
Okay.
giving back and showing the athlete both on and off the court. So I'd like to have you end the day. Usually my co-host does it, but we'll have you do it with some positive pop. So if you have some positive pop, which basically is just like an inspirational message that you can give out to people that will be watching this later, what's some inspirational feedback that you can give to everybody?
I mean, especially like recently, our world is experiencing something like it never experienced before, right? And when you turn on the news, there's so much negative energy. There's so much negative news out there, and you see like this side is attacking this side saying this side saying. Our focus should be only one thing. Our main focus should be how can we get through this together. You know, I feel like sometimes we are forgetting our goal, our main goal, and it doesn't matter what religion you're in. I feel like the people out there needs our prayers the most, you know. And when you meditate before you go to sleep, when you wake up, pray for those people, especially healthcare workers, nurses, or doctors. They're putting their life on the line, not just their life, their families on the line, so our world can be better and healthier. So I feel like just staying at home, pray for those people who are infected and who are, just the working to get this world better. Just pray for those people, and then I feel like the other thing is, we need positivity, like you said, the most. So like if you're doing fine, if your family doing fine, reach out to people because they want to hear from you, and just try to put a smile on people's face, trying to bring positive energy, be a good locker room guy. That's what I will say, and just be that glue guy that whenever things go wrong, so people will look at you and say, okay, she's happy or he is happy, so I gotta stay happy. I gotta stay positive. So I feel like we need to just we are if I look at the whole world, we are like just one team, one big huge family or team, you know? So like I feel like we need to stay together and we cannot forget our main goal and we just need to just go out there and just beat this thing.
I absolutely love all the positive vibes, and that's part of the reason why I started this show. Is
Hmm.
I loved being able to give back because I do have a platform like
As
you,
well.
and I wanted to be able to show people that athletes do a lot more than just bounce a basketball around on a court, and they do a lot more than going to practice every day. They eat
Hmm.
healthy, they train other people, they teach other people, they are using their voices and their platforms like yourself. So I am so happy that you joined me today. I can't wait to see you on the basketball court, hopefully sooner than
Appreciate
later.
it. I hope so. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Enes, and we will chat soon.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Perfect.